She feared he'd amputate her arm, but humans fight to save. The corridor lights of Horizon Station flickered as emergency crews rushed back and forth. Smoke still hung in the air from the pirate attack that had ended only an hour ago. Alarms were silent now, but the station felt wounded, like a body after battle. Lyra lay on a floating medical stretcher, her breathing fast and uneven. She was not human. Her skin was pale blue, smooth like polished stone, and her eyes were large and dark. One of her 4 fingers on her left hand twitched weakly. The rest of her arm was wrapped in dark cloth, already soaked through with a thick purple blood. She tried not to look at it. 2 alien medics from her own people guided the stretcher, speaking softly in their native tongue. Their voices were tense. Lyra caught fragments of their words: infection, damage, human sector. Her chest tightened with fear. She had heard stories about humans since she was young, stories shared in low voices on cargo ships and border worlds. Humans were strong. Humans were stubborn. Humans were dangerous in war. But what scared her most were the medical stories. Humans cut away what is broken. Humans remove limbs without regret. Humans believe survival matters more than wholeness. Lyra's grip tightened on the edge of the stretcher. "No," she whispered, her voice dry. "Please, no human doctor." One of the medics, a tall alien male named Sarek, glanced down at her. His face was calm, but his eyes showed concern. "Lyra, the station medical bay is damaged," he said gently. "The human wing is the only one still fully operational." "They will take my arm," Lyra said. Her voice shook. "You know they will." Sarek hesitated. "We do not know that." She let out a sharp breath that turned into a weak laugh. "Everyone knows that." The doors to the human medical sector slid open with a soft hiss. Bright white lights spilled out, too clean and too calm compared to the chaos outside. Lyra squeezed her eyes shut as the stretcher floated inside. The smell was different here, sharp, clean, and cold. Humans moved with quick purpose. They wore simple clothing, light blue and white. Some carried tools. Others checked glowing screens. No one shouted. No one panicked. That somehow made it worse. A human woman stepped forward. She had brown skin, dark hair tied back, and kind eyes. Her name tag read Lily Brown. "Bring her here," Lily said. Her voice was steady and warm. "Easy now." Lyra felt the stretcher slow and lower. Her heart raced as Lily leaned closer, her eyes focusing on the injured arm. "I'm Lily," the human said softly. "You're safe here." Safe. The word felt false. Lyra turned her head away. "Do not lie to me," she said. "I know what humans do." Lily paused. She glanced at Sarek, then back at Lyra. "What do you think we do?" Lyra swallowed. "You cut, you remove, you decide something is lost and throw it away." Lily did not laugh or argue, she only nodded slowly. "Sometimes we remove things," she said. "But only when there is no other choice." Lyra opened one eye. "There is always another choice." "Not always," Lily said gently, "but we try very hard to find one." Before Lyra could reply, another human approached. He was tall, with short light hair and tired eyes. His movements were careful, almost gentle. His name tag read Adam Cole. "This is her," Lily said. "Severe trauma to the left arm, energy blade burn and shrapnel damage, possible deep infection." Adam nodded. His gaze moved from the screens to Lyra's face. "Hello," he said. "I'm Dr. Adam Cole." Lyra stared at him. This was the one, she thought, the one who would decide. She forced herself to speak. "If you take my arm," she said, "do it quickly." The room went very still. Adam blinked, clearly surprised. "We are not taking your arm," he said. She laughed weakly. "You say that now." Adam stepped closer, lowering himself so his eyes were level with hers. "Listen to me," he said. "My job is to save you, not to take pieces of you unless there is no other way." "That is what your kind says before the blade," Lyra replied. Adam did not look offended. Instead, he looked sad. "Who told you this?" he asked. "Everyone," Lyra said. "My people, traders, soldiers, stories from survivors." Adam took a slow breath. "Stories travel faster than truth." He straightened and turned to the display beside him. "Let's see what we're dealing with." The cloth around Lyra's arm was carefully removed. The pain hit her like fire. She cried out, her body tensing as her vision blurred. Lily immediately held her other hand. "Breathe," she said, slowly. Lyra forced herself to breathe as Adam examined the wound. The arm was badly burned. The skin was torn in places and dark veins showed signs of spreading infection. Adam's jaw tightened, but his hand stayed steady. "It's bad," Sarek said quietly. "Yes," Adam replied. "But not hopeless." Lyra's eyes snapped to him. "Not hopeless," Adam nodded. "The bone is intact. Muscle damage is severe but repairable. Infection is aggressive, but we caught it early." One of the alien medics frowned. "In our medicine, this arm would already be removed." Adam looked at him. "I know." "Then why delay?" the medic asked. "Why risk her life for one limb?" Adam met his gaze. "Because it is her arm, because she wants it, because we can try." Lyra felt something strange in her chest, confusion mixed with fear. "Try," she repeated. "You would risk failure," Adam nodded. "Every day." Lily smiled softly at Lyra. "Humans are very bad at giving up." Lyra looked from Lily to Adam. She wanted to believe them, but fear was heavy inside her. "If you fail," she said, "I die." Adam did not deny it. "Yes." Silence filled the room. Finally, Lyra whispered, "My people would call you foolish." Adam gave a small smile. "We hear that a lot." Preparations began. Machines hummed to life. Lights shifted above the operating platform. Lyra was moved gently into position. As sedatives flowed into her system, her thoughts slowed. Fear still lingered, but something else joined it. Curiosity. Why would a species fight so hard for something that could be replaced? Lily leaned close. "I'll be here when you wake up," she said. Lyra's eyes grew heavy. "If I wake up," she murmured. Adam's voice came softly from nearby. "You will." As darkness took her, Lyra wondered if the stories she had believed all her life were wrong. And if they were, what else about humans had her people misunderstood? The medical doors closed, sealing her inside the bright human ward, where the fight to save her arm had only just begun. The soft hum of machines filled the operating room as Lyra lay under the sedatives. Her breathing was steady but shallow. Her arm, wrapped in sterile coverings, looked almost fragile. The bright lights made the wound seem worse than it was, but Dr. Adam Cole and Nurse Lily Brown focused not on fear, but on precision. Adam studied the arm closely. He could see the burned skin, the torn muscle, and the spreading infection. The bone was mostly intact, but it would need careful repair. He turned to Lily. "We have to clean the tissue first," Adam said. "Remove anything that is dead without cutting too much healthy tissue." Lily nodded, checking the monitors. "We have enough regenerating gel for the muscle," she said. "It will help repair the damaged fibers, but we have to be careful with alien metabolism. Too much and it could reject." Adam glanced at Lyra's arm. He had seen many injuries in humans, but alien physiology was always unpredictable. He moved his gloved hand slowly, touching the edges of the burn without causing pain. "This is delicate," he said. "We have to work with her biology, not against it." Sarek, the alien medic, watched quietly. He did not interfere but asked questions now and then. "Why bother saving it?" he asked softly. "Even if you repair it, it may never function fully. Removal would be easier, faster, safer." Adam shook his head. "We are not here to take the easy way. Easy is not always right. Humans fight to save what can be saved." Sarek frowned. "So humans are stubborn," Adam smiled slightly. "Stubborn is one word, but another is hope." Lyra's eyelids fluttered. She was only lightly sedated and she could hear their conversation. Hope. The word was strange to her. Her people believed in practicality, in cutting away what is broken and moving on. Humans, however, fought even when the chances were slim. Adam began the first step of the procedure. With steady hands, he cleaned the burned skin and removed small patches of dead tissue. The regenerating gel would help new cells grow. Lily handed him instruments carefully, always watching for Lyra's vital signs. Heart rate stable, Lily said. Blood pressure normal, oxygen levels good. Good, Adam replied. He paused and looked at Lyra's face. Even under sedation, she seemed tense. Fear lingered like a shadow. He wanted her to feel safe. Lyra, he said softly. I'm not going to take your arm, we are going to fix it. A small shiver went through her. She tried to respond, but the sedative slowed her words. She only whispered, "Why?" Adam considered the question. It was simple yet profound. Because you are alive. Because your arm is part of you, because it is worth saving. Sarek's brow furrowed. Worth saving? He repeated, clearly confused. Adam nodded. Yes, humans fight for life, every part of it. We do not give up easily. The next step was to repair the damaged muscles. Adam carefully applied the regenerating gel to the torn fibers. Lily monitored the sensors, making sure the alien cells accepted the human technology. Good response, Lily said. Cells are bonding, muscle fibers are reconnecting. Adam smiled. It was slow work. Alien biology was always unpredictable, but so far the arm responded well. Lyra's eyes flickered open slightly. She could feel movement but no pain yet. She watched the humans work with her arm, repairing, connecting, saving. It was unlike anything her people had done. No hurry, no fear, no cutting away what they thought was broken, only careful, deliberate effort. What are you doing? She asked weakly, her voice hoarse. Adam looked at her. Saving your arm, he said simply. You really try to save it? She asked, disbelief in her voice. Always, Adam replied. We do not stop unless it is impossible. Lyra's chest tightened. She had expected a blade, a quick decision. Instead, these humans were patient, even gentle. The fear that had gripped her began to mix with something new, curiosity. How, why? She whispered. Because it matters, Lily said, holding Lyra's other hand. Every part of you matters, every life matters. We do not give up when there is hope. Sarek shook his head slowly. Your people would never do this, he muttered. Perhaps, Adam said. But sometimes hope is more powerful than logic. The next hour passed slowly. Adam and Lily worked together, carefully repairing nerves, reconnecting tendons, and applying regenerative gels. The machines hummed, monitors beeped softly, and Lyra drifted between sleep and wakefulness. She listened to their voices, steady and calm. She saw their hands move without hesitation, without fear. She felt a strange warmth, an unfamiliar comfort. These humans were fighting for her not because they had to, but because they wanted to. How long will it take? She asked, her eyes barely open. We cannot say exactly, Adam replied. The process is slow. We must give your arm time to heal. Lyra looked at the arm, fragile and covered in gel. She could not believe it was still hers. She remembered the stories her people had told. Humans remove limbs quickly, without thought. And yet here it was, untouched, being repaired. Adam applied a final layer of gel and carefully wrapped it. This part is done for now, he said. Next will be recovery and therapy. Therapy? Lyra asked, puzzled. Yes, Lily said. We will help you move your arm again, slowly, safely, step by step. Humans believe in patience, in healing, not just survival. Sarek still looked skeptical. You really think this arm will be useful again? Adam smiled slightly. It will. We will not give up on it. Lyra felt tears in her eyes. She had feared humans would see her as broken, disposable. Instead, they saw her as whole. She wanted to speak, to ask more questions, but her voice failed. Lily squeezed her hand gently. Rest now, she said. We are not leaving your side. For the first time since the attack, Lyra allowed herself to relax. She let her mind drift between fear and wonder. Humans were stubborn. Humans were patient. Humans fought not only enemies but despair itself. And for the first time, Lyra realized that maybe humans were different from everything she had been taught. Maybe they were not just strong and dangerous, but something more. Something that fought not because it was easy, but because it was right. The lights hummed above her, machines worked around her, and human hands carefully repaired what had been broken. Lyra closed her eyes, feeling a strange hope she had never known. In the distance, she could sense her fear of amputation fading, replaced by something new: trust. Or at least the beginning of it. Adam and Lily continued their work, methodical and patient. They had no idea how deeply their actions were changing Lyra, how her people might see humans in a new light because of one arm saved. And Lyra, drifting in the quiet hum of the operating room, understood for the first time that humans did not give up. They fought, they tried, they healed, and that was something worth seeing. The hours passed, slow and deliberate. Adam checked every connection, every nerve, every tendon. Lily monitored her vital signs constantly. Sarek observed quietly, learning what he had never known. Humans treated life as sacred, even when a part of it seemed lost. Lyra's breathing was calm now, her fear lessening. She had come to the human ward believing that her arm would be gone, believing that her body would be betrayed by human hands. Instead, she found careful attention, gentle words, and a determination she had never imagined. Humans fought to save, not just to fix. And in that quiet, humming room, Lyra began to understand a truth that might change her forever. Humans do not abandon what can be saved. And she, for the first time in her life, wanted to survive alongside them. The operation was not yet complete. Recovery and therapy would be long. Complications could arise. But for the first time, Lyra felt that her arm and perhaps herself had a chance. And that thought, fragile and new, gave her courage she had never known before. The human method was simple: fight, repair, save, no matter how small the chance. And in their hands, Lyra's future began to feel possible. She let herself rest, drifting between consciousness and sleep, knowing that when she awoke, humans would continue their fight, not against her but for her. And somehow, that made her believe that life could be different, even in a universe that had always seemed cruel. The room hummed, steady and soft. Hope had arrived, quiet but persistent, in the hands of humans who refused to give up. Lyra felt it, fragile and alive, as the humans worked through the night to save her arm, and perhaps, a part of her heart. The hours passed slowly in the human medical ward. Lyra lay on the operating platform, her arm wrapped and supported. The sedatives had worn off enough that she could feel faint movements, the gentle tug of the bandages, and the pressure of human hands working carefully around her. Her eyes flickered open, and she tried to sit up, but Nurse Lily gently pressed her back down. "Easy," Lily said softly. "You need to stay still, we are not finished." Lyra's chest rose and fell quickly. "It hurts," she whispered. Adam Cole glanced at her monitors. Her heart rate had risen slightly, a normal response to pain, but he could see it was not just physical. Fear lingered, twisting through her mind. "Yes, it will hurt," he admitted. "Healing is not easy, but we will not stop and we will not give up on your arm." Sarek, the alien medic, watched from the side. He had grown tense. "The infection, it is spreading faster than expected," he said. "In my people's medicine, amputation would be necessary now. Any delay risks death." Adam nodded, keeping his hand steady on Lyra's arm. "We expected complications," he said, "but giving up is not an option." "We will adapt." Lyra's eyes widened. She had heard the words before: amputation. Her chest tightened. She was terrified. But when she looked at Adam, she saw something she had never seen in any human story she had been told. He was calm, steady. Certain that failure was not the end. You will not cut it off?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Not unless there is truly no choice," Adam replied. "And we are not there yet." Lily checked the monitors. "Infection markers rising, but regeneration response is improving. If we adjust the treatment, we can save it." Adam nodded. "Prepare adaptive biogel, mix with the anti-infection serum. It's risky, but we have no other choice if we want to keep the arm." Sarek looked uncertain. "Risky? What if it fails?" Adam's eyes met his. "Then we try something else. Humans do not give up on what can be saved." Lyra swallowed hard. She watched as the humans carefully mixed the gel and serum, adjusting doses for alien biology. She could feel the tension in the room, but no one panicked. Every movement was precise, deliberate, full of purpose. "Ready," Adam said finally. He applied the new mixture to her arm, slowly covering the affected areas. The gel glowed faintly, moving into the tissue and bonding with the damaged fibers. Lyra felt a strange warmth spread through her arm. It was uncomfortable but not painful. "You are doing this?" she asked, disbelief and wonder in her voice. Adam nodded. "Yes, we will fight this infection together." Hours passed. Lyra drifted between sleep and wakefulness. Every time she woke, Adam or Lily was there, adjusting, checking, monitoring. The humans refused to leave her side, refusing to give up even when the infection seemed aggressive. "Why? Why do you care so much?" she asked during a brief moment of clarity. "Because life is worth saving," Lily said simply. "Because you are worth saving, even one limb, even one person. We do not give up." Sarek whispered to himself, almost in awe. "Your people humans, they are not like us." Adam glanced at him. "Maybe not. But we fight in ways your people have forgotten. We fight to save, even when the odds are against us." Lyra felt something inside her shift. For years, she had believed humans only fought to destroy or conquer. Now she saw that they could fight to heal, to protect, to repair. Fear still lingered, but curiosity and wonder had begun to replace it. The next step was delicate. Adam needed to reconnect the smallest nerve fibers, the ones that would allow Lyra to feel and move her fingers again. It was painstaking work, requiring precision beyond anything she had seen in her people's medicine. "This will take hours," Adam said, "but it is worth it." Lily held Lyra's hand gently. "Try to relax. We are here with you every step." Lyra's eyes watered. She wanted to believe, but doubt still gnawed at her. What if the humans were wrong? What if the infection spread faster than they could handle? Adam worked in silence, hands steady. His determination was like a wall around her fear, protective and strong. The hours dragged on. Sweat formed on his brow, but he did not stop. Every nerve, every tendon, every piece of tissue was treated as precious. "Movement detected," Lily said softly, checking the monitors. "Nerve response is returning." Lyra's eyes widened. A small twitch in her fingers caused a spark of hope in her chest. She looked at Adam. It moved?" she asked. Adam nodded. "Yes, it is small, but it is there. That means your arm can recover." Sarek stared at the arm in disbelief. "Impossible. My people would have lost it by now." Adam smiled slightly without looking away from his work. "Humans do not give up so easily." Pain returned as the nerves began to wake. Lyra gasped, but Lily held her hand, steadying her. "Pain is part of healing," she said. "It means the arm is alive. It is responding." Lyra felt tears run down her face. She had feared death and amputation, and now she felt life. Life, strange and fragile, coursing through her wounded arm. "You really care," she whispered, voice trembling. Adam glanced at her briefly. "Of course we care. Every life is worth fighting for. Every chance counts." Hours turned into a long, exhausting night. Adam and Lily barely rested, checking, adjusting, repairing. Sarek stayed nearby, silent, learning. The infection slowed, nerves responded, muscles began to knit together with the help of the regenerative gel. Finally, the first signs of victory appeared. The infection markers dropped steadily. The arm had survived the initial crisis. Small movements became easier. The humans' patience, their refusal to quit, had paid off. Lyra could barely move her fingers, but she could feel them. A tingle ran from her shoulder to the tips of her 4 fingers. It was weak, but undeniable. She looked at Adam, at Lily, and finally understood the depth of their determination. "You saved it," she whispered, disbelief and wonder in her voice. Adam shook his head slightly. "Not yet. This is only the beginning. Recovery will take time. Therapy, careful monitoring, more treatment, but yes, it survived." Lyra's chest rose with a mixture of relief and awe. She had expected pain, fear, amputation. Instead, she found patience, skill, and persistence. Humans fought, even when the situation seemed hopeless. Sarek's expression was thoughtful. Your people, we call it foolish, but perhaps there is wisdom in your way. Adam nodded, returning to his careful work. Sometimes hope is stronger than logic. Sometimes fighting to save is more important than choosing the easy way. Lyra's fear had not disappeared entirely. The arm still hurt, still felt fragile, still seemed vulnerable. But she no longer felt certain of amputation. Instead, she felt the first spark of trust. Humans fight for what can be saved. Humans do not give up. Humans see life as precious. For the first time, Lyra understood something her people had never taught her. Humans had a strength beyond weapons or strategy. They had the courage to care, to persist, to save when giving up would have been easier. As dawnlight crept through the station windows, Lyra's arm rested on the platform, wrapped in healing. She could feel warmth, the faint pulse of life returning to her fingers. Adam checked the monitors, Lily adjusted her bandages, and Sarek silently nodded in respect. Lyra whispered to herself, "So humans fight for life, even mine." And in that moment, amidst machines and quiet voices, she began to see a future she had never imagined. A future in which she could survive, her arm intact, her fear slowly replaced by hope. And somewhere deep inside, she began to understand that humans, in their stubborn way, had already won her trust. Her arm was alive. She was alive. And the fight, though not over, had already begun to change her. Humans do not quit. Humans do not abandon. Humans fight to save. And Lyra, trembling but aware, felt the first true spark of courage in her chest days pass slowly in the human medical ward. Lyra's arm, once badly burned and broken, rested in careful support. The regenerative gel and adaptive treatment had done their work, and her body responded well. Small movements returned, weak but alive. She could wiggle her fingers, bend her elbows slightly, and feel warmth running through her skin. For the first time since the pirate attack, she felt hope. Adam Cole checked the monitors and charts constantly. Every nerve signal, every pulse of blood flow, every sign of infection was examined. He adjusted treatments when necessary, applied gentle therapy techniques, and encouraged Lyra to use the arm when she could. He never pushed too hard, never ignored her limits. Lily Brown was always there too. She guided Lyra's hands, showed her how to move fingers carefully, and talked to her, telling stories of human persistence and patience. "Move your fingers like this," Lily said one morning, her voice gentle. "Slowly, feel the motion. Your body remembers how to work." Lyra tried, grimacing as small twinges of pain ran through her arm. "It hurts," she said, eyes watering. "Yes," Lily said softly. "Healing can hurt, but that means it is working." Lyra watched Adam as he adjusted the support splint on her arm. He was calm, patient, and precise. She realized something new. Humans fought not only for survival but for wholeness. They refused to cut away what could be saved. "Why do you care so much?" Lyra asked quietly one evening, lying in bed as the sun of the space station dipped behind distant planets. Adam glanced at her. "Because life is worth fighting for, every part, every person, even one limb, even one life. We do not give up when there is hope." Lyra thought about her people. Her people would have removed her arm the moment the infection worsened. It would have been faster, easier, and accepted as normal. But these humans had refused. They had adapted their methods, taken risks, and worked day and night. They had not quit when failure seemed likely. "Humans are different," she whispered. "My people, we would never do this." Adam smiled faintly. "We may not be perfect, we make mistakes, but we fight when it matters. We fight when giving up is easier. That is who we are." Sarek, the alien medic, stood quietly nearby. He had observed the entire process, and now he spoke softly, almost in awe. "Your people, they see risk. Humans, they see possibility." Lyra listened to them, feeling something shift inside her. Fear of amputation was gone. In its place, there was respect, curiosity, and something she had never felt before, trust. She wanted to believe in these humans, though she had always been taught caution. Therapy continued. Adam guided Lyra through small exercises, bending her elbow, flexing her wrist, lifting light objects. The movements were slow, painful, but productive. She could feel strength returning, the arm responding more each day. Lily encouraged her gently. "Look at that," she said one morning. "You moved your hand all by yourself. That is progress." Lyra smiled faintly. "It still hurts," she said. "Yes," Lily replied, "but it is alive. That is more important than comfort." As days turned into a week, Lyra's arm recovered faster than expected. She could lift it without support, though strength was still weak. Small tasks like holding a cup or picking up a tool became possible. Each success filled her with a strange pride. She had not expected humans to care so much, and she had never expected to survive fully intact. Adam explained the next steps. "Your arm will heal, but therapy will continue. Movements, exercises, and patience. We will make sure it regains as much function as possible. Your recovery is not just physical, it is learning to trust again." Lyra looked at him, puzzled. "Trust?" "Yes," Adam said. "You feared humans would remove your arm. Now you see we fought to save it. That is what humans do. We protect, we repair, we do not abandon what can be saved." She thought about the pain, the fear, the long hours of therapy. She remembered the long nights when she had drifted between sleep and consciousness, listening to humans work around her. They had never left her side. They had never given up. Her chest tightened with emotion. She realized that she had been wrong about humans. Her people had told her they were dangerous, uncaring, and selfish. But now she saw another side. Humans were strong, but not just in battle. They were strong in patience, in care, in persistence. They fought for others even when it was difficult or risky. Sarek watched her expression change. "You understand them now," he said quietly. Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes," she whispered. "I never knew humans could be like this. So stubborn, so patient, so willing to fight for something even when it seems impossible." Adam smiled faintly. "That is human nature. We do not give up easily. We fight even when failure seems likely. We fight for what is worth saving." Lyra looked at her arm, now almost fully healed, and felt a strange sense of gratitude, not just for her arm, but for the people who had refused to give up on her. Humans had changed her life, and perhaps even her beliefs. Alien officials arrived on the station, observing her recovery. They were shocked. In their experience, the arm would have been removed, the body made safe and practical. Seeing Lyra's arm intact, responding to therapy, and gradually regaining function challenged everything they knew. One of the officials spoke quietly to Sarek. How did they do it? Human methods. It should have failed." Sarek shook his head. "Humans do not give up," he said simply. "They fight, they repair, they save." Lyra watched the conversation, feeling a strange pride. She had survived, her arm had survived. And the humans had proven something to everyone, including her, her people, and even the alien officials. Humans fight when others would surrender. She spoke with Adam and Lily privately. "My people, they will not believe this," she said. "They will think you are foolish, risking so much." Adam shook his head. "Perhaps, but we do not fight to impress others. We fight because it is right. We fight to save even when the risk is high." Lyra nodded slowly, understanding. She had learned more than she expected from this experience. She had learned about human courage, patience, and determination. She had learned that humans did not measure life only by efficiency or practicality. They measured it by care, by hope, by the refusal to give up. As she continued therapy, she began to regain confidence in the arm. She could lift small objects, hold tools, and even write simple notes. Each movement, though weak, reminded her of the humans who had fought beside her when fear and infection threatened to take her arm. Lily encouraged her every step. "Look at that," she said one day. "You can hold the cup yourself. See, progress." Lyra smiled faintly, her eyes glimmering with tears. I did not think this was possible, she admitted. Adam placed a hand on her shoulder. That is what humans do. We fight to save, not just survive, but heal, repair, and protect. Her heart swelled with a mix of fear, relief, and admiration. She thought of the stories she had heard about humans, stories of war, conquest, and destruction. She realized now that those were only part of the truth. Humans could fight with weapons, yes, but they could also fight with care, with patience, with hope. And that, she understood, was far more powerful than anything she had imagined. As the days passed, Lyra's arm grew stronger. The pain lessened. Her fear faded. She began to speak to other aliens about human methods, telling them stories of persistence, care, and determination. Slowly, word spread among her people. Humans were different. Humans fought not just to destroy, but to save. And in that quiet medical ward, Lyra finally felt something she had not felt in years. Trust. Trust in humans, trust in herself, and trust that her life and her arm were worth fighting for. She looked at Adam and Lily, her voice soft but firm. Thank you for not giving up, for saving me, for saving my arm. Adam nodded. We do not give up on what can be saved. Lyra smiled faintly, her eyes glimmering. I will tell my people, they need to know. Humans fight, they really fight to save. And in that moment she understood something profound. Human strength was not only in battle or courage, it was in persistence, in care, in the refusal to abandon life when it could be saved. Her arm was healing. Her trust was growing. And slowly, she began to believe in a future she had never imagined. A future shaped by humans who refused to quit. And as she moved her fingers gently, feeling the warmth and strength returning, she realized that the fight to save her arm had also saved a part of her heart, and her faith in life itself. Lyra's arm had healed more than anyone expected. The burn scars were faint, and the muscles were strong enough for basic movement. She could lift objects, hold tools, and even write notes. Every small success reminded her of the humans who had refused to give up on her when all seemed lost. One morning, she sat at the edge of her bed in the human ward, stretching her arm gently. Adam Cole stood nearby, checking the monitors. Lily Brown prepared a simple breakfast tray for her. The station was calm, and outside the large windows, distant planets glimmered in the soft light. You are moving faster than expected, Adam said, smiling faintly. Your arm is strong now. Therapy will continue, but you are ready for more independent exercises. Lyra flexed her fingers. It still hurts sometimes, she admitted, but it works. I never believed it could. Lily placed her hand on Lyra's shoulder. Humans fight to save, not just life, but hope. That is why it works. Lyra thought about the long days, the hours spent under sedatives, the careful work of Adam and Lily, and the strange warmth she had felt from their determination. She realized that humans did not see life as disposable. They did not give up when things seemed hopeless. They fought to repair, to heal, to protect. Alien officials visited the ward again. They came quietly, observing the progress of her arm. They whispered among themselves, clearly surprised. In their experience, the arm would have been removed long ago. Here it was, fully functional, healing, and alive. One official turned to Sarek. Your people, they cannot believe this. It is impossible. Sarek shook his head slowly. Humans, they do not give up. They fight for life, not just victory. They fight for hope. Lyra listened, her chest swelling with pride and gratitude. She had been terrified of humans before, believing they would amputate her arm without hesitation. Now she knew differently. They had fought for her when giving up would have been easier. They had risked everything to save a single limb. I will tell my people, Lyra said quietly. They need to know. Humans fight to save. Adam nodded. That is why we do what we do. We fight for life even when it is hard, even when others think it is impossible. Lyra's recovery continued over the next week. She practiced simple movements, then more complex ones. She learned to hold tools, lift small objects, and even control fine finger motions. Each success reminded her of human determination. They had saved her arm, and in doing so, they had changed her belief in what humans were capable of. One afternoon, as she practiced lifting light objects, she looked at Adam. "My people, they will think this is magic." Adam shook his head. "It is not magic. It is persistence, knowledge, and care. Humans do not give up. We try, adjust, and fight to save." Lyra smiled faintly. "So this is human strength?" Adam nodded. "Yes, strength is not only in weapons or war. It is in the courage to save, to repair, to fight when others would surrender." Lyra thought about the pirate attack, the fear, the pain, and the long hours of therapy. She realized that humans had fought not only for her arm, but for her trust, her hope, and her life. She felt gratitude, respect, and something new, admiration. She decided to share her story. She spoke to visiting aliens, telling them how humans had worked tirelessly, refusing to give up even when failure seemed likely. She described the patience, the care, and the persistence. Slowly, her people began to listen. Slowly, they began to understand that humans fought not just for survival, but to save what others might abandon. "I never thought humans could care so much," Lyra said to a group of aliens one morning. "My people would have removed the arm without hesitation, but humans saved it. They did not quit. They fought to repair, to heal, to protect. That is their strength." The aliens murmured among themselves. Some were skeptical, some were curious. But her words planted a seed. They had always believed humans were dangerous, selfish, and ruthless. Now they saw another side. Humans who could fight not to destroy, but to save. Adam and Lily watched from a distance, quietly proud. They had not only saved an arm, but had helped change perceptions, helped a species see humans in a new light. They had acted with simple determination, patience, and care. Human values that often went unnoticed, but here were undeniable. Lyra's therapy continued, and soon she could move her arm freely. She could lift it above her head, grasp objects firmly, and use her fingers with precision. Every day reminded her of human effort, human persistence, and the refusal to abandon what could be saved. One evening, she sat beside the ward window looking at the distant stars. She thought about the pirates, the injury, the fear she had felt when she first saw the human doctors. She realized how much she had changed. She no longer feared humans. She trusted them. She admired them. She believed in them. Lily came and sat beside her. "Your progress is remarkable," she said. "Not just physically, but mentally. You trust again. That is part of healing." Lyra smiled faintly. "I never thought humans could fight like this. Not just with weapons, but with patience, with care. They fight for life." Adam approached and nodded. "And now you carry that lesson with you. Tell your people. Show them that humans do not give up, that we fight to save even when hope seems small." Lyra thought about her family, her friends, and the aliens who had doubted humans. She wanted them to know. She wanted them to see what she had seen. Human persistence, courage, and care had changed her life. It could change theirs too. Over the next weeks, Lyra became an advocate for human medical philosophy among her people. She explained how humans worked tirelessly to save her arm, refusing to abandon her when it was dangerous or difficult. She described the patience, the attention to detail, and the courage to risk failure for the chance to heal. Slowly, more aliens requested human treatment instead of their own methods. "Humans fight to save," she said again and again. "They do not quit. They repair, they heal, they protect. Your life is worth saving to them." The station began to change. Alien patients watched human medics carefully, seeing the patience, the care, and the determination. They began to understand that humans had a strength beyond weapons or war, a strength in persistence, hope, and refusal to give up. Lyra looked at her arm, now fully healed and strong. She flexed her fingers, felt the warmth in her muscles, and smiled. She had survived. Her arm had survived. And in doing so, humans had taught her something she would never forget, That courage was not only in battle, but in the willingness to fight for what mattered. One evening, she spoke publicly to a group of alien officials and visitors. "I feared humans would take my arm," she said softly, "but they did not. They fought to save it. They did not give up when it seemed impossible. They risked everything for one limb, for one life. And in doing so, they have shown us that humans fight not just to survive, but to save. Remember this: humans do not quit, humans fight to save." The room was silent for a moment. Then murmurs spread among the crowd. Eyes widened. Some nodded slowly, understanding the truth she had spoken. Humans, they realized, were not only strong in battle, they were strong in persistence, in care, in hope. They fought to save life, even when giving up seemed easier. Adam and Lily watched from the back of the room. They did not need applause or thanks. The change had already begun. One arm saved, one life saved, and a species' perception of humans had begun to shift. Lyra returned to the ward, looking at her healed arm. She moved her fingers, flexed her wrist, lifted her arm high. She felt pride, gratitude, and hope. She thought about the humans who had refused to quit, who had fought for her when all seemed lost. She thought about the lesson they had taught her, that persistence, care, and courage could change more than bodies. They could change hearts and minds. And in that moment, Lyra knew she would carry that lesson forever. Humans fight to save. Humans fight for life. Humans fight for hope. Her arm was alive, her trust was restored, and her belief in humans had grown stronger than ever. She smiled, feeling the warmth of her healed arm and the quiet strength of a species that never gave up. The station continued its work. Humans and aliens worked side by side. Patients healed. Stories spread. One act of care had begun to change the universe in a small but profound way. And Lyra, once terrified and doubtful, now stood as a living testament to the human spirit, strong, patient, and endlessly determined to fight to save. She lifted her arm again, fully healed and alive, and whispered softly to herself, "Humans fight to save." And I will never forget. The quiet hum of the station, the distant glow of stars, and the steady work of humans continued. The world had changed, one arm, one life, one lesson at a time. Hope, care, and persistence had won, and Lyra knew it would never be forgotten.